Hello, everyone. I have a special guest here today. Is Mark Hammond. He's with the Boyd County Coroner's Office, and I'm Tammy Grant with Tri-State Media. Your story, our lens. All right, Mark. Glad you're here with us.
Glad to be here.
All right. Now, this is what I'm going to talk to you about. This is very interesting. I've always wondered about what a coroner does. Now, this is my intake on a coroner. You go in, they call you, say, we think they're dead. You go in and you pronounce them dead. And I feel like you might take them to the funeral home from there or ask them maybe the hospital to get confirmation and then to the funeral home. Can you tell me exactly what your job is?
Basically, and you're not alone. It's a myth a lot of
Yeah.
times. A lot of people think that.
Yeah.
And what we do is we are truly an investigative agency.
Mm-hmm.
And in Kentucky, a coroner is law enforcement just like any other law enforcement,
Mm-hmm.
except we handle death. So when a call comes in, it usually comes into 911. The call gets out. Paramedics usually arrive first. They will determine that the person is deceased.
Okay.
From there, we're called. And we get dispatched by the 911 center like anybody else.
Right. Okay.
We arrive on the scene, and usually 99.9% of the time, police is there with us, and we'll collaborate and work that scene together.
Okay.
We go in, determine the death, and from there, we decide what evidence that we need to collect, whether it be even on a natural death. We take any medication that is labeled to be with that person. Mm-hmm. And the reason we do that is it's part of the investigation. We take it, it comes with us. We take the body, of course, and it goes to our morgue.
So you've got a morgue at Boyd County?
We are one of two morgues this side of Lexington that I know of.
Really?
So
Wow.
In Round County, they have a morgue.
Yeah.
And then we have had a morgue here since 2007. And in 2000, a little before 2007, it went from a funeral home to an investigative agency that is totally separate from any funeral home.
Okay.
So a normal death will take us about 10 hours to work from start to finish. That's death certificate, that's everything. But we will investigate at the house. We will interview people that are there, who found them, relatives, anybody that can tell us the last time they were in contact with them. It could be anything that we need to know. If there's any evidence, such as drug paraphernalia, anything like that, us or the police, one will take that. Mm-hmm. And then we remove the body, it goes out to our office. Mm-hmm. And in the morgue, we got a lot better lighting. Mm-hmm. So we take pictures. We photograph any scars, any tattoos, any identifying marks, any injuries that they have are photographed. And then the body, of course, is photographed front and back. Mm-hmm. From there, we draw toxicology. Everybody gets toxicology drawn on them. That tells us any drugs that's in the system. Once that happens, then we are done with that body. A lot of people think on any given day, if I say your father's deceased, what funeral home do you want? Mm-hmm. In this day and time, probably 80% to 90% of the people have no clue what funeral home they want them to go to.
Wow.
So, and that's new. So they stay with us. We put them in our cooler, and in turn, they stay there until the family picks a funeral home. That could be hours, it could be days, it could be weeks.
Wow.
So it goes from there.
What happens in these other counties that, like, say, Greenup and Carter and all them other counties, they don't have a morgue like you all, right?
That's correct, yes.
So do they use your facility?
Greenup County does use our facility. They use us to do their transports a lot of times.
Okay.
And they will come to us, and then the family will work through Greenup County to get that body removed from our morgue to a funeral home.
Oh, okay.
Carter County, every now and then we use our morgue and our services, but it's open. We open it up to pretty much anybody. The problem is, on any given day, our morgue may have 6 people in it. It may have 15 people in it. It just depends on any given day.
It holds 15 people.
So it holds 15, and we've been full many times.
What happens if you're full and you've got a body?
We have a portable morgue that we can bring over and set up. And then we try to move them out as quick as we can to funeral homes to get them taken care of there also.
So it's basically the funeral home then that, okay, like in these other counties. I'm just curious on that. What do they just go ahead and take it? Do they take it at the hospital and then from the hospital go to the funeral home?
Most other counties, the funeral homes, they'll call the funeral home will come
And that's
pick
what
it up,
happens.
and that's what happens.
Wow.
Granite County, Carter County doesn't have a funeral home or doesn't have a hospital, so
Right.
we get that influx also.
Oh, wow.
So what our standard procedures are, they always come with us.
Wow.
So that's just to give us better lighting. The hospital's always full. When I went to the hospital the other night, there were 12 ambulances deep. And so in turn, all the rooms were
What?
full. So in turn, they were like, okay, so we went ahead and took it as quick as we can. Their trauma rooms were full. Everything was full. And that's just been a perfect storm ever since Belfont shut down.
Wow.
So,
See, and did Belfont have their morgue and stuff there
Yes,
too?
yeah.
Now, King's Daughters has only got like 3. Is that
King's
right?
Daughters Morgue holds 3 people, and that's it. So they try to move
I
the
don't know
body
how in the
out.
world that can be justified.
We've tried to talk to them. When I took over, or when before me, Chris Stewart was a coroner, and when he took it, that was when the county decided, hey, it needs a facility. Mm-hmm. And King's Daughters didn't have the room or anything else, so King's Daughters helped fund our morgue.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
so
good.
they helped with funding to build a cooler, things like that, and that in turn kept the decedents from having to go to their place,
Right.
and we could have them at ours.
Now, where is your facility at?
Our facility is in Paul Coffey Park beside the road department. So
Okay.
1221 Anthony Drive. And
Drop.
yeah, so we are right beside the road department. We actually have a very nice facility. It was built in 2015. At that time, it has my office, a deputy's office. We have our own evidence room. We have a little kitchenette, a conference room, and the conference room is pretty nice because we have a window that is a viewing window. So people do not have to go in our morgue if they don't want to.
Oh, wow.
We can bring the body over to the window and they can view it through the window.
Now, see, I love
instead
that.
of going through there.
Because that can be very personable
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
You know?
It kind of helps a lot of times because it's not a place that we want. That the last time you want to see your loved one, and so we have that as an option.
Well, that, Michael, that would be a good podcast to go up there and tour the. I mean, it's something nobody wants to talk about is death.
Death is the hardest thing, and people don't realize it's just like the coroner's office. The coroner's office is an office that everybody kind of forgets about because nobody wants to talk about death. And so
You're really the most important person.
they pick up the
Actually-
phone, and they call. All they want is, and most people are like what you said. The myth is we show up and say, okay, you're dead, and we take you to a funeral home or we call a funeral home.
Yeah.
And it's not, far from that as far as all the investigative tools that we use. If somebody dies today and I'm investigating that death, I'm pulling medical records, I'm talking to interviewing family, I'm interviewing friends, I'm doing toxicology, all that stuff happens. I've got to write my report to make sure it's perfect because if we go to court, most court cases are 4 to 5 years out.
Wow.
So,
you got to have all that.
So all that kind of has to be done to where we know that it's going to be perfect when we get there. So it takes a while to make sure everything's done. It's kind of like autopsies. A lot of people say I call it the CSI effect. Everybody thinks that DNA is going to come back quick and everybody gets autopsied, and
Right.
that's not true. We autopsy about 30% of our cases.
Really?
And the rest, everybody gets what's called a postmortem examination. So everybody gets an external examination.
Okay.
Everybody gets toxicology. Everybody gets pictures. But if we truly need an autopsy, then that goes to Frankfurt. We have to drive to Frankfurt to get that done. And,
Now, how long does it take to usually get an autopsy report back?
at least 45 days. Because there's only really 2 facilities in Kentucky that do autopsies. It's either Frankfurt or Louisville. We used to have a facility the state did in northern Kentucky, and they had one in Madisonville, Kentucky. So they covered all 4 corners, but the 2 have pretty much shut down. And so now it's just Louisville
Wow.
and that mainly because it's hard to find a pathologist.
Really?
Pathologists are, and Kentucky doesn't pay a lot compared to other states. A pathologist in Kentucky can walk across state line and make an extra $100,000 a year.
Wow. Why is
Compared-
that? Why does Kentucky not pay that much for it?
And it's not just Kentucky; it's actually an epidemic across the United States. West Virginia, at one time, was flying in pathologists to work 2 or 3 days and then flying them back out. Because if you go into Indiana, and a coroner in Indiana, the way it used to be was you had a list of pathologists, and you would start calling to where one would take it,
Wow.
and you could name your price. So Kentucky's had a system since the 70s to where we had centralized places, and this is where you go. So, and we'll go there, and they'll have X number of pathologists that'll work, and to get it down. But Kentucky had a shortage probably 3 or 4 years ago that it got really bad, and they've upped the price on the pathologists, is what they pay them, and things like that to make that happen.
Wow. That's crazy. You wouldn't think all that would
Yeah,
intertwine together.
and nobody knows it.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks about it until they're waiting for that death certificate. I had a suicide not long ago. It happened in January, and the wife needed the death certificate. Well, I can't sign that death certificate until I get everything, including the autopsy report. I got it yesterday.
Oh, wow.
I signed it out today.
So it took what, 2 to 3 months
Yeah.
to get that back?
Yeah.
And you wouldn't know that. But, I mean, how do you determine a suicide on that level?
Everything, we look at everything to us is a murder or a homicide until proven otherwise.
Oh, there you go.
So we start ruling things out. If things don't look right, if the body's been moved, if nothing adds up that this could have happened that way. You take a suicide, for instance, and it's a long gun instead of a pistol. We're measuring.
What's
from
a long gun?
Long gun would be a rifle.
Oh, a long gun?
or
Okay.
a shotgun, or something like. We measure from the tip of fingers all the way up to the shoulder to see if somebody can reach and pull a trigger.
Oh, wow.
What handed are they? That doesn't mean a lot.
I've heard of that. I've just seen something on something that there's no way that she could have done it because she was left-handed or right-handed.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's not true.
Okay.
But people think that, and it's good for TV and it's good for everything else.
Yeah.
But people, a lot of times they use the opposite hand. It's not necessarily
See, I would have never
the
thought
dominant
that
hand.
a coroner done that stuff like that. I thought you all just pronounced people
No, it's a lot.
dead
a
and
lot
they go
more
on
in
to the
depth.
funeral home. Wow.
We had a case Monday night. It was a suicide, and in turn, that case, we spent 5 hours on that case. So I left the house at 6 o'clock, and I was home by 11 o'clock. But it takes that long to get the paperwork ready to make sure that's what it is, to start doing all the steps that we have to do.
And then you take it home with you.
Oh yeah, it takes.
I don't know. I mean, I was going to add, that's a question I've got to ask you. How does that affect your home life as far as working a suicide or something like that mentally?
Well, a lot of people don't realize I was actually, I worked as a counselor for the state crisis intervention team for
Really?
like 15, 16 years.
Wow.
So that helped a lot because in this job, I started out as a fireman, as a firefighter, and a paramedic, and in your younger years, and back then, you did a lot of self-destructive things, alcohol abuse,
yes,
all
yes.
this stuff that goes with it, and you got to learn to have an outlet. There has to
Yeah.
be an outlet.
Right.
When I worked EMS and worked on the truck, my outlet was, a lot of times I read. So I would find something to read. Reading put me to sleep. I was good to go. I went and worked out at the Y. There's
Just
different
things that you done to
Now it's kind of funny. I play Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
I play.
There you go.
I play Xbox.
Michael still plays Xbox.
The kids go to bed at night. Everybody's in
PlayStation.
bed, and so I've got an Xbox. I'll turn it on. I'll play for about an hour,
Yeah.
or I'll read something, and then it's
And
like,
that's
okay, I'm
that's
ready.
your release.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's I record a lot of TV shows because I'm never around
That's
when
where my
it's
dad
coming
used
on.
to do too.
So I'll record it, and then it's like, okay, I'll watch this, and it'll kind of calm me down to where I can go to sleep and
Wow.
I'm good.
That's got to
So,
be tough, though.
It's kind of like, people will tell you, especially people that deal with PTSD and things like that, a lot of responders, it's kind of like a catalog, and you catalog things to the back of the brain, back of the mind, and it keeps doing that.
Wow. You're very appreciated by everyone. We had no clue. I had no clue on what. We've been sitting here talking to people for about an hour before we even got started. And some of the stuff that he has told me is like crazy. I never in my lifetime thought you done all that you done. And for the salary that you make, come on now.
And I'm lucky. I'll be honest with you. If you go and there's a bill, that's in the House right now.
What bill is it?
It's Bill 138. I think
138?
138 or 158 is the bill number, and that bill is not moving. It's not going anywhere. And the reason that bill was put in place, we've tried for 2 years to set a salary schedule for coroners because everybody else has that's constitutional office. The judge, the sheriff, the jailer, and the county clerk, they all have salary schedules that they get paid on.
Okay.
On a coroner, the year of the election, by May 1st, the fiscal court sets your salary for the next 4 years. So what we try to do is so every 4 years you go and beg and plead of why you need a salary of what you need it at, or why you need personnel, or why you need this.
Are you talking about your full salary for your, I'm going to say establishment, 315,000?
Now that's every year. I'm talking just about my salary, just
Your
the
salary
coroner's
yourself.
salary. Yes.
Wow. So you got to go and ask them?
Yes.
Why can't they just come to you and say, hey,
Yeah.
you deserve this? Because you've saved the county like $100,000?
Every year we save about $100,000 on just transport.
Come on, people.
Because my transport budget's about $40,000.
Wow.
And if somebody else did that, it would be about $130,000. And because you got to transport the bodies. And I get asked a lot of times, one of the things I do get asked is, why do you need more than one person a lot of times? And it's like, and it's no pun intended, but if you've never moved dead weight, people, they don't die on first floors. Usually it's 2 and 3 stories up. It's usually in a bathroom that nobody can hardly move in. It's, so it takes, luckily, we work really well with the fire department. We work really well with EMS. And so they keep people there to where we'll have 2 or 3 or 4 people to move a body.
That's good.
And it's respectful. You can't just drag a body. You got to be respectful when you do that. And we try our best to be as respectful as we can and to remove them as gentle as we can, because if you take an instance that we think it's a murder, we think something happened to somebody.
Right.
And that body gets jostled wrong or evidence gets lost. There's a lot of different things that we are very careful when we move a body for that reason. We, a lot of times, will put a sheet over somebody before we even move them, so the sheet will catch any of the evidence that we may lose.
Oh, wow. So that's the reason the sheet in, actually, to cover up that part of death.
Yeah.
Because who wants to see that? Like if you're driving by or something. I've seen that several times, with sheets being over people. But I never thought about it preserving evidence.
So we have to preserve that evidence, because any evidence that's lost could cost you in a court case.
Wow.
So that's what we make sure that we do.
Mark, your job is like, you do all kinds of stuff.
It is, the job is very interesting. And when I took the job, one of the biggest things that I wanted to make sure is people know about the job. And that's why we have a Facebook page, and that's why I put things out, because people don't want to talk about death, but they're very intrigued about death.
Yes, very much so.
People need to realize that they do get their money's worth, number one, that they have professional people doing an investigation, and that we're going to take care of their loved ones.
Right, and that's the big part right there, taking care of your loved ones.
Exactly.
So you've got, how many do you have working under you now?
So I have 4 full-time deputies. We work 24-hour shifts, and we just rotate those through the month. And then I have one part-time deputy that fills in
for vacations
for
and stuff.
vacations, things like that. And then we have an office manager, and she's there at the office Monday through Friday because we have a lot of phone calls. A lot of people come in
Oh, yeah.
that want open records.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that once a case is closed, anybody can walk through our door, and if they know the name, they know when they died, they can fill out an open records request, and we have to give them that information.
Oh, wow. How far does that go back? Can you go back many, many years?
Yeah, we have all the stuff. As far as we have cases that go back probably into the 60s or 70s,
Oh,
but
wow.
that's where they stop. And a lot of that is not good documentation. Some stuff's been lost over the years where coroners have switched in and out. But the way our coroner's office is set up now is it's fully digitized.
Oh, wow. That's
So
good.
we have everything in a cloud-based system that we can pull stuff from at any given time.
And you don't have to go look and taking hours to go
Exactly.
through. You know how you
Yeah.
see movies.
Yeah.
I
We
sit and
have
watch
it.
stuff like that.
If you all ever come and visit my office, my
Yes,
office
we would love to.
has right now banker boxes all the way around the wall because we've run out of room for to keep the physical files in filing cabinets. We run out of
wow.
filing cabinets.
Wow.
So we're now talking to somebody that's what they do. They do nothing but archive records, and just so we can keep all that, because we do get phone calls of people wanting to go back into the 70s and 80s and 90s, even
What's that?
Archive.
Oh, really?
We have all the utilities to do so.
Oh, really?
There's a lady in Lexington that's doing archiving.
Really?
And I don't know how they do it. She's coming to our conference, and she's come by wanting to talk, and it's like I'll talk to her and see. But archiving is big because so many people need archiving. They got to have the records because you don't want to lose. You don't want that stuff lost. I mean,
yeah.
that tells somebody's history. That tells somebody's story.
Exactly.
And
And you're going to have these younger generations coming back, maybe interested in stuff like this.
well, and that's what you
wanna
get.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you get family members now that, especially with the pill mills and the overdose crisis that we have, you'd be surprised at how many schools we go to. And a child will come up and they'll say, "Hey, you were at my house last year. You took care of my mom. You took care of." But when they hit 18, they're coming to our office going, "I want an open records request. I want to know what happened." And
Oh,
that
wow.
happens a lot.
I would say.
And so, unfortunately, it's part of our job. It's part of what goes on in our area.
Wow, that's just crazy. Never thought in a million years that there was so much to be a coroner, you
No.
know?
And a lot of people don't realize that. I mean, when I got into the business, basically it was about a 75-25 split that funeral homes handled everything. And you had that 25% of people that weren't a funeral home. That split now is about a 50-50 almost.
Wow.
Of to where, and that's one of the problems is counties had never had to worry about the bills. They never, the funeral home transported, the funeral home did this, the funeral home did that. And the county paid a little bit here and a little bit there, but they didn't have to run it like an office.
Right.
And in Boyd County, that started in 2007. We had our first official building, you might as well say, that we had a morgue built in it, we had a little office, and we had a budget of like $85,000.
Wow. Wow.
And we kind of grew it from there to where, as time went on, you've realized, okay, we need this, and this is why we need it. And so, in turn, we got a new building. 2014 and 15 is when that building got built. And a lot of people have looked at that building. A lot of people don't realize it's like if somebody is burnt up in a car, or we have used our building to reconstruct that. We've brought the car and body and
Really?
all to our office to where we have a garage to put that car in.
Wow.
And then we start sifting through that car and we find the cause of the fire and we find if there's any evidence in there and things, and we work with the police to do all that.
See,
And
that's,
so,
I never,
Yeah.
I had just never,
So-
I just thought it was detectives and,
Yeah.
FBI.
So, and we're glad to help because we
Wow.
learn from each other. It may be the fact that where I've been in emergency services for years, I may know a whole lot about the fire side of it, to where a detective that's there may not know as much. So we work together, and it's all a collaboration.
Now, if somebody, like, for instance, I'm sitting here, my mind is brainstorming here. Like, if you're in hospice and they're going to pass away, do you all have to go pronounce them dead too?
We do not. So if
not?
it's a hospice case, hospice takes care of all that. The only reason we would go there is if it was an unnatural death of why hospice has it. Then we would take control of that. A good example of that is we had since we have a hospice house here, we had a gentleman that ended up here that had been beat during a drug deal.
Oh, wow.
And in turn, you always go back to the original cause of death. So the original cause of his death was the beating and the head injury that he sustained. And so that turned into a homicide investigation.
After that, then?
So
wow.
it kind of rolled downhill. And the guy, he was actually out of Pike County, so we had to go to Pike County to testify into all that. So things like that, where you have the hospice house and you have different things, we don't go there a lot, but when we do go there, it's because of that reason.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, I mean, people, it's passing away there
Yes.
a lot. And I'm thinking, okay, do they have to go do that?
It would increase our workload tremendously.
Yeah. So do they have somebody that can pronounce them dead there that is qualified?
Yeah, so like
the key.
nurses can pronounce people dead.
Really?
In a hospice situation like that. Paramedics outside the hospital can pronounce people dead.
Okay.
So there's different, it doesn't have to be just me. Now they'll say they're deceased, and then what happens is when we get there, their time of death is actually when we arrive. When we pronounce that person. We take anything in an ER. So anything that's in the ER, and King's Daughters has an ER facility of 85 beds now. It's more or less like a small hospital. So we take any of that. So anybody that dies in that ER becomes our case.
Wow.
So we have to we spend a lot of time in the ER. Those people are very good friends.
So that's the reason. I mean, you've got 4 deputies.
Yes.
What happens to these other counties that don't? I mean, well, okay, so the other counties come to King's Daughters most of the time,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
King's Daughters is the main hospital.
Yes.
That tells you right there, when Bellefonte closed, like the capacity that it generated people to just go to King's Daughters was unreal, man.
Well, I've been around since 1990 as a medic and things. So in 1990, King's Daughters had a ER of 18 beds. And then they built another ER. And everybody thought this is going to be it. We're not going to have to do this. Well, then they started having side 2, side 3.
Yes.
And so now this year, it's all state of the art. When they opened it up last year, that now we have it's 85 beds. We have very nice consultation rooms that families can go to where we can talk to them and interview the families. Used to, that was a small room that probably you could put maybe 4 or 6 people in.
Oh, wow.
So now
it's a big conference room now.
It's they have actually 3 of those. So, and there's a lot of times that we'll be down there and we'll have 2 cases, 3 cases at a time.
Now, do you get called out a lot?
I do, yes.
You yourself as a coroner?
So I work on a normal schedule. I work usually 7 to 8 24-hour shifts a month, depending on what it is. And then on top of that, I make sure I'm at the office with signing out all the death certificates. I do that once or twice a week.
Are you the only one qualified to do that?
Any of my deputies can sign them out, but there's one deputy that signs his cases. Besides that, I sign everything else.
Okay.
I basically review all those, make sure everything's done,
Right.
and then I'll go ahead and sign those. So that, like before I came down here, I'd signed out about 6 death certificates today.
Oh, wow.
And I've probably got about 4 to go back and sign.
Wow.
But anything such as suicides, homicides, car wrecks, anything like that, or anything high profile, I'll come out on no matter what.
Yeah. That was my question.
Yeah.
Like, you've got your deputies working their full-time job. You are there to assist them whenever they need it, right?
Yes.
You're the one that has to go out
Yeah.
and say, hey,
And we like another set of eyes. I mean, there's a lot of
Right.
times that two sets of eyes are better than one,
right?
and we'll bounce off ideas. So if it's anything to where we think we need that, we use a messaging system of everybody that works for me.
Wow.
And so I will send something out. Hey, we've got a homicide, or we've got this. Is anybody available to come out?
Right.
And 99.9% of the time, we help each other.
Yeah.
And we have people that'll come out and be able to do things. And
Do you have a lot of overtime with that still too?
we do nothing but salary. So there's no overtime,
Oh,
no nothing. What you
okay.
get paid is what you get paid.
No matter what,
No
no
matter
matter what, how many hours you work.
Yeah, it doesn't
Wow.
doesn't matter what we work or what
That
we
can
put
be
in.
overwhelming too.
So we put in a lot of hours.
Yeah.
I've got a very, very understanding wife and family.
I know. I don't know her, but I know her through Facebook, Lacey, and she's lost a lot of weight. She
Oh,
looks amazing. You look amazing.
So we do. We stay busy.
Yes.
So and she understands.
That's
No matter what's
awesome.
going on, whatever
That's awesome.
happens, she'll be like, "Go."
You have to have a support behind you to be able to do this kind of job.
Oh yeah,
So you got to commend her on that too.
It's
you know?
hard. I mean, it's hard on everybody.
Yeah,
So
I get it. Wow. Woo! I didn't know a lot of stuff that I've learned today. Me and Michael both was like, whoa. What drew you into this field of work, Mark?
basically, working on the fire side and on the EMS side, they're just seeing different scenes. The investigation is what intrigued me.
Really?
And I always, I tell everybody this: just because who you are or what you are isn't what killed somebody. It may have contributed to it a little bit, but everybody deserves a fair investigation and gets the same investigation.
Wow.
So it doesn't matter if you're the richest or the poorest. By any means, that's what has to happen. And in turn, I make sure that happens.
Wow.
That's probably one of the most important things to me. And so when I took that job, that's the stance I've always had. And I tell everybody that the facts is what's going to lead you into finding the truth. So I'll take that and I work that investigation from start to finish the same way every single time.
Well, we're blessed to have you in
so
Boyd County.
That to me means more than anything, because it doesn't matter. I never want to shortchange a family of trying to find out what happened to their loved one. So
Wow.
pretty simple.
Well, that's a lot to do, though. That's a lot of work.
So it's work that on the back side, it's hard work on the front side. On the back side, when it's all said and done, it's rewarding work.
Yeah,
So
that's what I was thinking. That's gotta give you a peace of mind, and you give the people that it's pertaining to a peace of mind also.
And that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I never want to
Amen
not
on
be
that.
able to give answers to people.
Wow.
So that's why you work it the way we do.
Okay, for anyone to become a coroner, what is the qualifications?
There is none.
What? I could go?
You could go and you could run against me in an
wouldn't want to.
election, and whoever wins wins. And then that's the thing. I mean, it's crazy.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
There's no requirements to be a coroner?
You got to be 25 years old, and you have to live in the county for a year, and that's it. And so we have all walks of life as coroners.
Wow.
Now, what I require is a lot different.
Woo!
So once you're elected, you are sent to school through the Department of Criminal Justice.
Okay.
And you do 1 week. So you do 1 week of school, 40 hours, and now you're expected to determine the cause and the manner of everybody's deaths that you come in contact with, to investigate those, and to be able to draw fluids to tell if there's any drugs or anything in somebody's body.
1 week?
1 week. That's all you get.
That's scary because a police officer goes to school for how long?
22 weeks.
22 weeks in Richmond?
Yes.
Now, is this same place in Richmond too?
We do ours usually, it's through the criminal justice, but it's in usually Louisville or Frankfurt.
That needs to change, Mark.
That's how it's been since its inception. It never should
No.
be an elected office, I don't think. I think it needs to be, it should always be
Qualifications?
qualifications number one.
Yeah.
It's like in Ohio. In Ohio, you have to be a doctor, but at the same time, they have investigators that's not doctors.
Well, how can we
So-
change that?
Right now, It would have to be through the it's a constitutional office, so it would have to go through some type of constitutional change for that to happen.
Yeah, because you've got to have experience doing this. There's
So-
no way a person like me come off the streets could do your job.
And
You know?
and that's what makes it scary a lot of times, because it is a popularity contest.
I
In a
know.
way.
And a lot of elections are like that.
And a lot of people will tell you.
I hate that.
Well, they'll look at you and they'll say, it's well, nobody wants that job. Nobody wants to run.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, there is people want the job because of different reasons. They have different motivations. My motivation is the investigative side, to make sure everybody gets a fair investigation
right.
and the truth.
Right.
It may be the fact that it may be something else for somebody else. Who
Mm-hmm.
knows? So it's kind of scary that you build an office up with qualified investigators and everything else, and then if somebody runs against you that can beat you because of popularity, all that's gone.
Wow. See, that should not be an elected office.
No,
right there.
not at all.
Not, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And it's got to change, man.
And a lot
It's
of
gotta
people don't
change.
realize that either. A lot of people don't
Never
realize
thought
it's-
about it. How many years? I mean, how long? 4 years? Is it a 4-year term?
Yeah, 4-year term, like any other constitutional
And you've got to
office.
run just like a sheriff or
Yes.
a judge. I mean, judges don't run, do they?
Yes, matter of fact, yeah, like a circuit judge and a district judge do.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So it's one of those things that every 4 years, here you are. You're on the ballot. And
When do you go back for a ballot
so,
again?
well, it's this time. Luckily, I'm unopposed.
Oh, wow. So
And,
this year?
Yeah, this year. So
You would
I'm
have had to have
unopposed.
run?
I would have had to run. So
Wow.
I filed my paperwork early.
You mean it's too late for me to run against you?
You could file as an independent.
it?
You could be, yeah, you could be an independent.
Well, I used to.
Well, see?
Actually, let me tell you the story real quick. Well, I don't want to. I don't want to do that. But I changed my affiliation from Republican to Independent 8 years ago. That might tell you a little, or 6 years ago, tell you a little bit. And then I just recently went back. I think it was in December, and changed my back from Independent to Republican again.
I understand.
I didn't stand for everything that they stood for, and I felt like I had a better chance at independent to be able to voice my opinion. But it doesn't really matter.
No.
It doesn't matter.
No,
And I couldn't
politics
vote
are-
in the primary.
That's the
I
problem
was
right there.
so disappointed.
Yeah.
The last 2 or 3 years, I couldn't vote in the
You couldn't even
primary.
go in and say who you
Yeah.
wanted. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's got to change too, I feel like. I feel like in the primary, you should be able to vote for whoever you want in that part. It doesn't matter what party you're in.
It cripples you a lot of times. A lot
Yeah.
of people don't realize that, but it truly does cripple you having to vote in the party affiliations, even in the primary.
Yeah, but you can in the general election.
Yes.
You can vote for whoever you want.
can vote for who you want to then.
Yeah, that's where the independent comes in at.
Yes.
Mark, watch out. I'm after your job.
Throw your name in. Let's do this.
Come on. Let's get the awareness out there. I could get out there and investigate, let me tell you. I'm an investigative reporter.
There is not a doubt in my mind you could investigate. I say that about any
All women.
any female can investigate. They're better than the CIA most of the time.
Daggone right. We got this now. I really, gosh, I'm blown away. Because when I asked you to come on the show, and I seen that you were doing so much for Boyd County, just reading what you do, and I'm like, wow, I had no idea you done all you do.
I truly try. What I try to do is educate a lot of people, because a lot of people don't realize what the coroner's office does. It's like, for years, ever since the inception of the coroner's office, not here, but in other places, and I'm sure here too to a certain extent, a lot of people's like, well, that's a part-time job. And we hear that more than not. But in reality, it's a full-time job.
You don't know why. I mean, yours is way over full time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not working at that office 24 hours
But you
in my
are.
shift. But it's like, nobody would sit still and let a police officer go, okay, you're working 24 hours, but you can do anything you want. And when something happens, we're going to call you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, by then, you've had 14 drunk drivers that's went by, and you've had shoplifters, and you've had everything else, but nobody's caught them because you don't have policing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all right for the coroner's office to do that, and it's not.
See, that
You
there's
know,
so much wrong in so many ways in that job.
You know,
And if there's anything we can do to help you to have that changed, I mean, just getting it out there, talking about it.
And that's the thing. It's just talking about it and making people aware of what's going on because, you know, I'm lucky. I'm lucky here because the fiscal court and the judge executive both and the county administrator, they all know how important that office is. And that's why we have the building we have. That's why we have the vehicles we have.
Awesome.
You know, it's not perfect.
Who are these people? Can you tell me who they
Well,
are?
it started out back in 2007, and all of them I can't remember. Dave Salisbury's been on there for a long time, off and on. And he's back on there now. Jeremy's on there now. Jeremy Holbrook's on there, and Randy Stapleton are your county commissioners.
Yeah.
You got Justin as your county administrator. And then you got Eric, of course, as the
Eric
county
Chaney?
judge executive. Yes.
Yeah, we met him a couple of days ago, and
So in turn, you know, they realize that.
okay,
And the good thing is anything that I've asked for,
you've
I
got
truly needed, and they've helped me get it.
right.
One of the things where probably, I don't know, 2014 or so, I blew my back totally out and I had to have surgery on my back by moving body. I was moving body and it happened. And in turn, though, one of the things that we do to help out there, and it's cost effective because it cut down way on back injuries and things for us, is we bought a lift system to move bodies around and to where they go on racks now, and we have a system to where we can use it hydraulics instead of using brute force.
Right.
That makes a huge difference for us.
Wow.
So, you know, just having a building to where families can come into. Most people don't have that. And, you know, we have a lot of families that are in our office to identify bodies, their loved ones, to pick up valuables, all their personal belongings, because everything stays on that body till we get it. And, you know, at the office is when we collect all that. So we collect all personal
And
property.
they can come there to pick it
and
up.
they come and pick it up there. So our office is used every day.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. How can there be you need a part-time person too for your administration part of it?
And luckily we've had a full-time person to do that. She's there 8:30 to 4 Monday through Friday. She also comes out. She started out as a transporter.
Yeah.
And so in turn she moved into the office.
Who is this? May I ask?
Yeah, her name is Erica Balmer.
Okay.
Is her name, and she's great. She's a young girl that she got started as a transporter for us, and in turn from there had worked into the office.
Right.
We had a lady leave, and she wanted to come into there, and she takes care of a lot of things for us on a day-to-day basis, such as making sure the toxicology goes out, making sure somebody's there when somebody comes in to retrieve personal belongings, all that stuff that has to happen. A lot of people don't understand that the coroner's office has to sign off on any cremation for anybody that dies in this county.
Wow.
So when I started this in 2007, we did 85 of those a year. Now we average 500 a year, sometimes as high as 650.
Cremation?
Yes. So and what has to happen with that is we have a form that we started a long time ago. You ask about hospice. So what happens is hospice still fills out a natural death form.
Okay.
And they send that to us. That tells me exactly what that person died from and who's signing the death certificate, what funeral home they go to, all that.
Okay.
I review every one of those, and I have to match those up with a cremation that needs to be signed if it's not our case.
Oh, wow.
Because on that form it says that I know the circumstances of their death. So I have to make sure that that's right. So we review about 1,200 of those a year.
Jeez.
And then we open up anywhere between 260 to 300 cases a year that we do full investigations on.
Wow.
And that changes, you know.
See, that is unreal.
So
That's a lot of work, Mark.
We stay busy.
Shoot, thank you for taking time out from all this. It's overwhelming, I'm telling you, because I mean that's just a lot.
Yeah. So when you look at that, it becomes huge, and so you're sitting there going, okay, you know, what's this? You know, why it's a part-time job, but it's not. You know, there's many nights when the kids go to bed and wife goes to sleep, that I'm at the office doing death certificates to make sure those go out in a timely manner.
Wow.
We got to make sure that we order stuff and make sure that happens. All that stuff has to happen.
Yeah.
So we have to have supplies and all this that has to go with it.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes with the supplies, I'm sure, too.
Yeah.
You know that you're going to need.
Just in body bags a year, we
Wow.
spend about
See, I didn't even think about body bags.
about $15,000 a year, 14 to 15, depending on.
And does
what
that
year.
come out of your budget?
Yes, all that comes out of my budget.
Are you serious?
Yeah, yeah. So all that has to. That's where the $312,000 comes
And that
from.
includes your salary.
That includes all the salaries. So my deputy's salary, they make $19,100 a year, is what they make.
That's full time?
As full time. They're
Wow.
offered benefits, which a lot of deputies are not offered benefits.
Yeah.
And then the part-time person makes $9,500 a year, and the full-time office manager, she makes, I think it's $42,000
Wow.
is what she makes. My salary is $55,000.
Wow. So you're going to ask for a raise?
I
think you deserve it.
I'm asking, and I'm hoping
Who do
that
you
I
have to
get
go in
something.
front of?
Fiscal court.
And,
So,
who's that? Is that like a bunch of them?
no,
or just
usually
one?
it's Justin and Eric, the county administrator, and Eric Cheney. And basically, what happens is we'll sit down and we'll negotiate back and forth.
Yeah, and come up with something.
Come up with a
each
number,
year.
hopefully, that we can live with for the next 4 years.
Yeah. So it's every 4 years?
Every 4 years.
Oh, okay. So you'd be running. That's
Yeah.
what I'm getting it now.
Yeah, so I actually we have to do that before May 1st. So before May 1st, we'll come up with what my salary can be, and we'll run with it. There's a form that comes out every February,
Yeah.
and that form says that a coroner can make a maximum amount of money. Like this year, the coroner can make maximum $97,800. There's only probably 4 or 5, maybe 6 coroners across the state that make that money.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
But look at the money you're saving, Boyd
Yeah.
County.
so you know, it's we
I'd
can go
say,
anywhere
yeah.
that we can go. Just for instance, if they gave me that salary, I would still make about 30% less than what is mandated for their salaries. For
Oh, wow.
the judge,
The
the sheriff,
the ones
yes,
that,
the constitutional.
man, they need to be looking at that too. Hey,
So-
you could go down to this salary, you know?
So when you look at that, you know, it's set in stone, you know, every
Wow.
year that comes out, or every 4 years anyways. And so the coroners were just left off on that in 1998. They were left off. And
I don't get
they're
it.
trying to make a right, you know, change the wrong to a right.
Well,
and
see, I
fix
know
it.
Suzanne Griffith.
Yes.
She mentioned that on our Empowering Women
Yes.
segment, talking about that. And I'm like, wow, you know, we need to have Mark Hammond on.
And a lot of people just don't realize the politics behind it and everything else.
There's a
that
lot
went
of
on.
politics
So,
in there.
You know, we've tried for 2 years. It's stuck in committee now. It's not going to come out of committee. We know that.
So we need to go and look at the bill, right?
Yes.
It's either 138 or 158,
Yeah,
right?
let me look real quick.
Yeah.
Give me a-
I've got it written down here. She said something about it on the podcast, on what bill it was. She knew.
She knew what bill
She
it was.
knew.
Suzanne takes care of me.
She knows
Suzanne
every
is
bill.
a great woman to have on your side.
Oh,
I'll be
I wouldn't want to
honest.
be against her, would you?
I love Suzanne because she will fight for what needs to be fought for.
Yes.
And that's the most important things that people do not understand.
Right. Exactly.
And when you look at that, it's a lot of stuff that she's out here fighting for everybody.
Yes, she is.
Especially the Kentucky Power thing, all that stuff that she's did.
Yeah, we covered that too, and that went crazy. The Kentucky
House
Power
Bill
thing.
138.
138.
Yeah,
Okay.
138 is the House bill. And
Michael,
like-
does he look at that camera right here or that one up there? Which one? This one here? Okay. Just tell people what bill they need to go talk to the representatives about.
yes,
or call?
So that bill is in the House subcommittee right now. It's House Bill 138. Call your representative, talk to them, and let them know how important that bill is to get out, because it is a crisis. It's not a crisis just in Kentucky. It's a crisis all across the nation.
Yes.
When I posted that the other day, and you saw what I posted about the crisis that's happening, it's a crisis in South Carolina and North Carolina.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere, because truly there's very few states that have a salary that's worth somebody running for a coroner's job.
Mm-hmm.
And so in turn, we're trying to get that to where, it went from a 75 to a 75-25 to a 50-50. What happens if that goes to a 60-40 or a 70-30? Somebody's going to have to pay that bill.
Right.
And nobody's going to do it for free. And that's the thing. And everybody's like, well, somebody will always do it for free. That's not true.
That's not true.
Not true at all.
Not true at all. I get that part, but yeah, we need to support Mark here and all the other coroners in the state or United States. But this isn't particularly because your salary is not, your performance is amazing compared to your salary.
One of the things that, that we've tried to do, and Eric's been a big part of that with the county, is, when I started, a deputy made like a little over $10,000, between $10,000 and $11,000 a year. So everybody that works for me works other jobs, and it's not out of because they want to; it's out of necessity.
Yeah, you've got another job too, right?
Oh yeah, I work a second job too.
Wow.
So I have the whole time. When I first started as a coroner, I made $15,000 a year.
Mark.
So we went from 15 to 55. We've worked a long way.
That's good. Thank you all for supporting him, but we're talking 2026 now.
Yeah. So that's went from 2011. It's took that far to get here. So, every 4 years we bump it and we move up in the world. So hopefully
it's time to bump it and bump it good.
Yeah. So we're hoping that we get where we need to go.
Yes. And you all need to be listening to this because I'm telling you, I am fascinated by your work ethic, and it seems like you're the type that you're going to get it done one way or the other, no matter what the cost is.
Oh, and that's what happens. The good thing is I have a great team.
Yeah.
And that team, we work no matter what. It's one of those things that everybody that's worked for me now on the transport side, it kind of changes back and forth with different people. But on the coroner side and the deputy side and things like that, I've had that same team since I've started, pretty much.
Wow.
And they stay. They do a good job. They know what it takes to get it done, and there's huge amounts of experience there.
Oh, I'd say.
So we bounce a lot of ideas off each other. We come out and help each other, things like that. That's what has.
Like one of your deputies could be working a EMT job, which pays a lot more, I'm sure, than what he's making right now. Or a deputy police or a person that's in the police force. I'm sure that they make more than that.
And what I do a lot of times is like one guy is a paramedic that works for us, and he's one of my deputies. And what he does, he gets done working 24 hours, then he goes on call for 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
And then he's off a day. Or he comes off 24 hours, he's off that day, but then he has to work 24 hours working for the coroner's office right before he goes back in and works another 24 hours.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
That happens a lot. And we've just did that over the years. It's been part of it. And one of the things I'm working on now is I'm not going to be here forever. This is probably my last term. And, when I get done with this, I'll be 61 years old.
I know.
And I'm probably like, okay, I'm done. So I'm trying to set that mark for whoever does take that. Because, everybody that's worked for me has worked many years. And, it's easy to walk away after being in there that many years when everything's said and done. So we don't want to leave that in a bad place. We want to make sure it's taken care of.
Do you all have something like a chief deputy?
Dr. Beadle, which is Ralph Beadle, he's pretty much, he's not a title of chief deputy, but that's in seniority. That's who we call next, and that helps a lot. So there's a lot of people that we can call and say, hey, I need this help. Come to me and help me. I've got this going on. The other night when we had a suicide, it was, hey, I called him because I heard it on the radio and he was on call. And I said, listen, this is what you got, but I'll be there. I'm getting dressed. I'm headed out now.
Wow.
And so we both just took it and we ran.
So you get the call no matter what?
Yes. Yeah, we have a dispatch is who calls. They call the deputy on call. Is how it works. But everybody that works for me, we use what's called active alert or active 911. And so when they cut that cord, I know about it. It'll go off on my phone.
You already know.
And I see what it is, and then we can kind of go from
Wow.
there.
So you're always on call, no
Yeah.
matter what.
Yeah, this thing,
24/7.
my phone goes 24/7.
I bet it does. Wow. That's just amazing. I'm going to ask you a few questions here.
Sure.
The hardest job that you didn't expect when you took this job?
Probably the hardest thing is working as a paramedic. I always looked at things as I didn't cause the problem. I didn't cause the sickness. I didn't cause any of that. And I'm there to do the best job as treat somebody the best I can. Once I got to the ER, I was done.
Oh, yeah.
I got him to the ER, moved him over onto the bed, and we were finished. But now, when I stepped into the coroner's job, it's totally different because I have that family from whenever somebody is deceased. So whenever somebody is dead, from that point on, they're mine.
Yeah, and you didn't really
And,
expect that.
Yeah,
at that
that's
time?
a whole new avenue.
Yeah, wow.
Because many times you're sitting in the ER and you hear people screaming and they're
Yeah.
they're crying and they're all kinds of emotions.
Yeah.
And I could sit right there and write a report, and I didn't have to deal with any of that. Now I deal with all of that.
Yeah.
So I deal with that from all sides of it now. So that's
Wow.
probably the hardest part because it's something I didn't expect.
Right.
So you had to learn to adjust to that.
Yeah.
And how I adjust to that, and I'll tell anybody this, is there's nothing more important than the family that I'm talking to.
Awesome. I
So
love that.
in turn, if no matter what's going on, my life could be falling apart. It doesn't matter. The most important thing is who I'm talking to at that time
Yeah,
and telling them what I'm telling them
because that's your job.
because that's my job. They've just lost their loved one. There's nothing more important than that. So they want answers. I try to give them those answers. And, so everything else goes on the backside.
Right. What is the hardest part of your job?
Hardest part's probably dealing with any of the child deaths. And we deal with different child deaths from homicides to natural deaths because we get a lot of kids that have congenital medical problems, things like that. But kids are always hard no matter how sick they are. And then if it's a homicide or a suicide, we've had more than one suicide from kids being young teenagers on up. That becomes hard. And because a lot of times you can relate to things that's happened and why, kids, when I grew up, people lived for the moment. It's no big deal.
Yep.
Things changed. You know how
Yes,
it
they
went. We
have.
learned to deal with things. This society that we live in now is an instant society. So if a kid loses a cell phone for the day, to them, that's
tragic.
worth killing themselves over.
That's tragic.
Yeah. It's an instant thing, and that makes it the hardest thing.
Yeah.
But I've learned over the years too that kids don't just die. Babies don't just die. When we grew up, everybody heard about SIDS, and SIDS was a huge
Yeah.
thing. But
I
when
had
you
a
really,
nephew die from SIDS.
when you start investigating, a lot of times, and we've had, SIDS cases to where we can't say, okay, it has to be SIDS because we've ruled everything out. And you do the same thing with a child. You go in and that child's been murdered until we prove otherwise.
Oh, wow.
So then you start looking. Could it be co-sleeping? We have a lot of co-sleeping. Where
What's that?
Parents put the kid in the bed with them,
Oh, okay.
and then they roll over on them. So we have a lot of rollover deaths.
Wow.
Wedging. They get stuck between an arm and the couch because they're trying to feed them and they fall asleep.
Oh, wow.
And then, of course, drugs plays a major role now.
Yeah.
And so we look at every single avenue before we say this is what it is.
So
Kids are abused a lot.
Yeah.
We deal with a lot of abuse from head trauma, things like that.
And you've got to investigate that.
So all that is investigated from start to finish. And I take those very personally when it comes to a kid.
Yeah, I would say so.
So-
That would be so hard. All right. What is something you wish the general public knew about death?
Probably the biggest thing that I wish people understood is that just the myth of, there's two things. The myth of we walk in and say, you're dead, and we call the funeral home and we just stay there and do nothing.
Yeah.
Because and that's a huge myth. We want the families and the public to know that, number one, the office is very professional. We try to do things as efficient as we can, and we have the utmost integrity to do that job. So we're going to investigate that, and we're going to make sure that that's why somebody died.
Right.
And then the second thing is, of course, there's so much TV now that we see a lot of CSI effects. Why can't you tell me that that's this person? A lot of people don't realize DNA, up until probably a few years ago, would take anywhere from 6 to 8 months to come back. So we may hold somebody for that long
Wow.
before we got DNA back. And now it's better. There's rapid DNA that you can do and things like that. So those are the two biggest things, is that there's a lot of times we don't say anything about a case because we can't. I'm not going to give falsehoods out. So I may give very little about that information on that case until I have facts.
So don't you think social media is a big part of,
Social media is a
communication.
huge thing. It's a big it's a big misinformation. People
Yes.
shoot videos. They'll contact family members long before we can get a hold of a family member. A lot
Wow.
of times, and that goes back to that instant society that we have. But in turn, especially if a death is here in this county, if the family is here in this county, I want to talk to them face to face. I don't want somebody to find out over a phone call or Facebook or
And that happens.
anything else. And it happens all the time.
I've seen it with my own two
Yeah.
eyes on Facebook.
And people mean well, but
I
it
know.
just, it happens.
They want to be the first to tell.
And so that's probably the biggest thing.
Okay. What is the hardest case that you've ever had to work?
Oh man, probably a case I'm waiting to go to court on now.
Oh, really?
That's about 5 years old, and it was a girl that was 5 years old, and it turned out to be a homicide, and we had to really investigate that hard to get that. Kids are probably the hardest. There's a boy right now that's serving time over a child death because he decided that, he was 18 and he was seeing a girl and she had a child, and the child was crying and she didn't get up. He did. And he decided to use the palm of his hand to hit the kid in the back of the head and kill it to get it to quit crying. And he said and told us that just like we're talking, and confessed to that. His life's run, the child's dead, the mother's life's run because now she doesn't have a child, things like that that happen, when you look at that. The other side of that is the people that are truly, they've been married 40, 50, 60 years, and now they've lost that loved one.
Yeah.
That makes it hard a lot of times, just for the simple fact of that. But people ask you all the time, what's the worst thing you ever saw? And I tell everybody, if I really said that, it would be, probably making a therapist go back to school because we see a lot of things. But it's a very sad job, but it's a very rewarding job.
Yeah.
So I try to do both.
Wow. So you're a therapist too, huh?
I try not to be. Nobody's going to take advice from me, I promise.
I said, well, you've got plenty of experience there. Let me tell you. Wow. This has been a very rewarding, I feel like, for everyone interview here.
Hopefully everybody enjoys this and everybody kind of gets educated on what exactly the coroner's office does and what it's about.
Exactly. And I'm glad that you came out. Thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything else you want to say to people?
No.
That we didn't cover?
We pretty much hit everything.
Yeah.
I could sit here for days probably and we could talk.
You know what? And that's what we was just talking, people. We need to do a podcast weekly with this man.
So that may be something coming down the road. We may get involved and really get into something here about just to educate people about what the coroner's office does, what it's like to run a coroner's office, what it's like to deal with the public compared to what we used to deal with. There's a lot of things we could go different avenues.
Oh yeah, because
So maybe a good idea.
I think that just working with the public could be a bit much.
The public's a different world. A lady, if I stop at McDonald's, and I may stop there once a week and go through a drive-through, and there's an older lady that works that thing. And she said, "How's your day going to be?" And I said, "Well, it just depends on the public," and it always does.
There you go. Hey, that's a
So-
good one. That's a good one.
And I smile, and she smiles back, and we go
And
on.
that's it. Well, we want to thank you for showing up to your story, Arlene's. You told your story, didn't you?
Yes, I
And your
did.
phone's going off.
That's all right. It goes off all the time.
Oh, I'd say so. Hopefully, it's not anything major.
No, we're good.
But we really do appreciate you, Mark. We appreciate you as citizens of Boyd County, what you do for everyone, the deceased. I mean, just taking care of the deceased and knowing that there's respect there. I've heard stories. I've heard
yeah.
so many stories about what, not with the office, your all's office, but what happens after people die and stuff. And I'm like, it makes me sick. It makes me sick.
It opens your eyes a whole lot.
Yeah.
And when I was a paramedic, it was a completely different job than what
Yeah.
this is. And honestly, I like both jobs, but this has really become almost like a calling as we move forward and everything.
Right. So you got 4 more years.
Four
we got
years,
4 more
and we'll
years
go.
of Mark Hammond. Yes.
So I will hopefully be still around, and everything will be great, and our office will be moving forward as we always do.
Yes, and that's where we got to get with our legislatures and stuff too, and get that bill passed.
That bill's the big thing.
Yeah.
It really is, and this is the second year. It's not gone anywhere.
All right. Well,
So we got to figure that out.
you've got Suzanne in your corner. You're blessed.
Suzanne will take care of me.
Yeah, I'm sure she will. But we just thank you again, and we hope to see you again soon.
That's great. Thank you all for having me.
Okay. Your story, Arlene's. We'll see you later.